Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the sessions today. I will tell you, I just got out of the AI session and I'm feeling more empowered and engaged than ever and ready to do the work we need to on the licensing reform. I've seen there's a couple of questions around, will some of the sessions be available after today? Absolutely. We hope to get as many of them up on demand as quickly as possible. Probably give us a month or two to get some of them up. We will do our best to get as many up as quick as possible. We know it was hard to choose between sessions today, and so we want to make sure that all of them are available if possible. But I am so thrilled to be able to introduce a special guest to you all before we go into our last session of the day. Again, my name is Dwayne Brejak, he, him. I'm the Executive Director for NASW Michigan, and I have the honor of introducing our Senator from here in Michigan. Made in Michigan through and through, U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow continues to lead on public policy and improve the lives of people in Michigan and Americans across our country. Her leadership is characterized by an unrivaled work ethic, the ability to build bipartisan coalitions and get things done, and a commitment to public service that has set the standard for constituent services. She completed her Bachelor of Arts and Master's of Social Work degrees from Michigan State University, which we won't hold it against her in Rivalry Week. And during her MSW program, Senator Stabenow ran for and won her first office with the Ingham County Board of Commissioners, inspired by the threatened closure of a local nursing home. She served in the Michigan House of Representatives from 1979 to 1990 and in the State Senate from 1991 to 1994. In 1995, she was elected to represent Michigan's 8th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. And throughout her years of public service, she has blazed trails and opened doors for women and girls. Among her many firsts, she was the first woman elected to the United States Senate from Michigan, serving in that role since 2001 and being one of only 5 BSWs or MSWs in Congress. Fun fact, Michigan is proud to be the only state represented by those with social work degrees in both the Michigan House and Senate, with 4 state representatives with MSW degrees and 2 state senators, as well as with Senator Stabenow and newly elected Representative Hillary Skolton, who has a BSW degree. As the author of 2 landmark programs that are transforming the health of our Great Lakes, there is no greater champion for our Great Lakes, natural resources, and the Michigan way of life. Senator Stabenow has persistently focused on making things in America and bringing jobs home. And because of her leadership, Michigan is well positioned as a global leader in the clean energy economy. She knows that we can't have a strong economy unless we make things and grow things. And as chairwoman of the powerful Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry, her work continues to shape our nation's food and farm policy, making sure our youth have the food they need to develop and thrive, and impacting generations to come. Senator Stabenow helped write the Affordable Care Act and has passed major reforms to bring down the cost of prescription drugs, many of which we've seen this year. Her bipartisan Excellence in Mental Health and Addictions Treatment Act is transforming the way we deliver high-quality community behavioral health services in America. And because of her leadership, we are now going to be funding healthcare above the neck, the same as healthcare below the neck. Currently, Senator Stabenow is a leading voice on several pieces of legislation directly impacting the social work profession, including the Improving Access to Mental Health Act and the More Social Workers in Libraries Act. Senator Stabenow is recognized as an official NASW pioneer, and in 2004 was recognized as the National Association of Social Workers Public Elected Official of the Year. I could go on, but I want you to hear directly from the senator herself. We are so honored to have such a powerful example of what real change you can do with your social work degree with us today. Social workers, please join me in welcoming our fabulous Senator, Debbie Stabenow.
Well, thank you so much, Dwayne. I wish I could be there in person. I was looking at your amazing program today, and I'm jealous because you're really doing a lot of great things today. And I want to thank the board. I want to thank everybody for being involved. In my opinion, if you go into social work, it automatically comes with a requirement to be involved in advocacy because you see on the front lines what's happening to people. And as much as I would like to say each of us as individuals can do everything that needs to be done, we have to get together collectively. That's how we do things individually to help people, but then we have to take that information about what's going on in the systems, what's working, what's not working, and get together and try to fix those things. That's really what got me into politics in the beginning, and I think it's incredibly important. I will also say that whether you pay attention or not, politics is going to affect you. You don't have to care, but somebody in my job will decide whether or not you have a job, because we are related. We deal with funding issues, we deal with regulatory issues, we deal with coverage, professional coverage and Medicare and Medicaid and private insurance. But we deal essentially with every part of our lives in some way in terms of governing in our country as part of a democracy. And it's better if you're engaged. It is much better if you are engaged. And Dwayne actually took something I was going to say. We currently do have 5 social workers in Congress. We're the only state where we have a U.S. Senator and a U.S. House member. And I really do believe that the skills that I received as an MSW has made a big difference in terms of looking not only at individuals, which is so critical, but looking at systems, how people are impacted by what goes on around them. These are, I think, really important skills to have. And frankly, I think that Congress would be running more smoothly if we had more social workers. That's just for the record. I think that's true. So Dwayne also mentioned, and specifically, I would just say, as it relates to the social work profession, as I have been leading the effort to transform quality behavioral health services in the community, which has taken way, way, way too long. In fact, I should tell you, President John F. Kennedy in 1963 signed, the very last bill he ever signed was the Community Mental Health Act, to move people from hospitals to quality services close to home. Unfortunately, what happened for decades is hospitals were closed, but community services were not created, not in a comprehensive way. And so this is the effort that I have been leading and that we're moving forward now on nationally, as well as in Michigan, the Certified Community Behavioral Health Clinics movement, CCBHCs. And I'm really glad we have 41 now in Michigan. And we need every community to have comprehensive services where anybody can walk in the door and get service, regardless of ability to pay, where the police know that they can take someone to 24-hour psychiatric services rather than to jail when what they need is help, that somebody doesn't have to sit in an emergency room when what they need is help. And that's the whole point of comprehensive services, working with our health centers as well, and broader services. And so I'm excited about that happening, but we need more clinicians. We know we need more people in the workforce if we're going to provide more services. And so the Improving Access to Mental Health Care Act, which is bipartisan with a colleague of mine, Senator Barrasso, would increase the reimbursement rate for clinical social workers and allow CSWs to provide a full range of services under Medicare. This is going to make a life-changing difference for so many people across the country. It's really a priority for me to get done in the next 14 months before I retire at the end of 2024. So we need more social workers. We need to be robustly funding school health centers, including behavioral health care, and we need to make sure that we have access for people across the country to the wonderful kinds of skills that you have. I wanted to just take a couple more minutes, and I know you are involved in many things here, and you've got some things left to do today. But I just want to stress again how important it is that you are engaged in both in policy and in voting. It makes a difference who's in office. I mean, it certainly makes a difference as to what happens. The Affordable Care Act would not have happened without President Obama, with all of us having a majority, a Democratic majority in the House and Senate back when it passed. And certainly I've been working hard to continue to strengthen it more and more and more, but it has made a significant difference. I was a new member of the Finance Committee when we did that. I would argue the most powerful committee in the Senate. I was a new member, and I told my staff I wasn't going to vote for healthcare reform unless every definition included mental health and addiction or substance use disorders. And so in the end, every definition, because definitions matter, reimbursements and definitions. What's the definition of what we're trying to do? And if behavioral health isn't in there, then it's some kind of little add-on later. And so essential services under the Affordable Care Act include not only really important services for women, OBGYN services, et cetera, but essential services include behavioral health care. We still have a problem because we've told insurance companies you can't treat coverage and access to mental health and addiction services differently than physical health, and yet it's still happening. So we have to continue to focus on enforcement. But it matters who's there. It matters who's there when we're talking about comprehensive community behavioral health clinics, when we're talking about gun safety. It matters in Michigan. It matters in Lansing, as you know. After the horrific mass shooting at Michigan State, coupled, by the way, with the fact we have shootings every single day and loss of life every single day because of gun violence in neighborhoods and on our streets and schools and parks and so on. But everybody's attention was focused on, as they should have been, at Michigan State. And within 2 weeks, we had hearings going on gun safety. Within 2 weeks. Within a month, we had legislation being passed, comprehensive background checks, red flag laws to have a process to stop one from having a gun if they are not, if they should not have one. Storage laws. It happened because of who was in Lansing. Does it make a difference? Yes, it makes a difference who is in office at every level of our government. And so I just encourage you to be engaged. We are seeing here in DC, and I wouldn't have enough hours to go through with you all the craziness, honestly, going on here. But we see good people trying to make a difference, and then we see a whole new crew have come in as part of what I call the chaos caucus here. And they're all on the other side of the aisle, but just trying to pit people against each other, use children. There's going to be a bill brought up in the Senate that I will lead the fight against to take away school breakfast and lunches and other food from trans kids. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And certainly the president will not sign that. So, but it's unbelievable, the meanness and the cruelty and the recklessness that is going on in too many places. So does it matter who the president is? Yeah. Does it matter who the governor is? Does it matter who is in office, whether it's county commissioner or the city or the township or the state? And so, yes. And so I would encourage you to think about being one of those people. If you have interest in solving problems and interest in working with broader systems and community organizing and bringing people together, we need you. We need you. And if you don't want to be that person on the ballot, then I hope you will be willing to engage, write a check, do organizing, get engaged with others who want to be, who share our values. We're at a pivotal moment in our country. I still believe greatly in our capacity to do good things. I believe greatly in our democracy. I believe greatly in all of us. But this only works if we're committed and we're engaged. So I'm grateful to have a few minutes with you. I love NASW. When I was a county commissioner, I have to say, I asked the local NASW chapter to endorse me, and I guess nobody had ever asked that before for a county commissioner race, but I wanted NASW with me, and you have been with me every single step since then. There's so much work that needs to be done for people, so many ways in which we need to lift people up, keep people safe, keep people healthy, create opportunity. You can do that. And we'll do that if we just keep working together.
Well, thank you so much, Senator. And I have that picture from your early races in my office. We've got a nice packet that I found. I'll have to send some over to you.
Oh my gosh.
We really appreciate your steadfastness, your sanity, your calmness in a really chaotic time in our political system, and your leadership for social workers in the behavioral health field across the board. And for our social workers who are listening in today, we're planning a retirement party with you sometime next year. Date to be determined. So we hope that all of our folks will show up to help celebrate and send you off with a really nice a party. So thank you again for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.